Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group, exclusive details on Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin's aim to push counter-drone technology through Replicator 2.0. And the VA is making a new tele-emergency care service available across the U.S. It's Monday, September 30th, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. Here are today's top headlines. Pentagon leadership will accelerate high-volume production of technologies designed to detect, track, and destroy enemy drones via Replicator 2.0. This development marks the first public report of the second capability focus area under the Replicator initiative, a high-profile effort that underpins the Defense Department's multifaceted plan to deter China. According to a memo signed by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on September 27th and viewed by DefenseScoop ahead of its publication on Monday, the Pentagon, quote, will tackle the warfighter priority of countering the threat posed by small, uncrewed aerial systems to our most critical installations and force concentrations under Replicator 2.0. Secretary Austin has directed Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks and Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Admiral Christopher Grady to oversee the development of a Replicator 2.0 plan that will be proposed to Congress in the Pentagon's budget request for fiscal 2026. The Defense Department aims to field the C-sUAS system selected through Replicator 2.0 within 2 years after lawmakers approve their funding. In other news, the Department of Veterans Affairs is making tele-emergency care available nationwide, following a pilot that the agency credited with helping over 60,000 callers. In a Thursday announcement, the VA announced that tele-EC, which aims to increase timely access to virtual emergency care options for veterans enrolled in VA healthcare, will be available across the nation to assist those who are unsure if what they're experiencing is a minor emergency or not. The agency pointed to veterans in rural areas and those with mobility or transportation challenges as individuals who could benefit from quick virtual triage assessments. Considered part of the VA Health Connect service, tele-EC resolved veterans' needs without them having to travel to a healthcare facility at a 59.4% rate during the pilot. It also allows veterans to speak to a clinical triage nurse who can connect them to tele-emergency care when clinically appropriate. From there, providers will evaluate the veteran over the phone or video and recommend next steps. In life-threatening emergencies, the clinical triage nurse will call 911 and stay on the line until help arrives. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.